بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب صدق الله العلي العظيم. Indeed, it's a good opportunity to be at your service and discuss many things over here. But in the time that I'm having for few minutes, I would like to have a reflection on the verse number 190 from chapter Ali Imran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, Inna fi khalqis samawati wal ard. Most surely in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the alteration of the night and the day, there are signs for men who understand. If we consider us as men who understand, as the people of intellect, as ulil albab, one of the things that we can understand from this ayah is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in this ayah that when you are referring to this creation of the universe, when you are looking at skies, at earth, at many of the creations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in this dunya, you would find out that these things, these animals, trees, skies, all those creations are not look alike. You would find out that there are many alterations. وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ. Even the day and night are not similar to each other. You would find out that the creations are of different colors. The creations are of different types. You would find out that the animals are not all alike. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah mentions that when you are referring to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you would see that this alteration and this ikhtilaf and this not being similar to each other is one of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this matter is not only applicable for the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala excluding us, but also include us as human beings. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to, He would create everything similar to each other. He would not create different colors. He would not create different creatures. He would not create different animals. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this ikhtilaf, created this difference between the things in order to tell us that in difference we can find unity. In order to tell us that the difference are there for another purpose, but the thing that is common between all of these things is that we are the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same thing is applicable for human beings as well. You would find out that amongst human beings are different colors, are different languages, different tribes, different people. But what is the purpose behind all this ikhtilaf? Purpose is not to find out the ikhtilaf and point out to the ikhtilaf. Purpose is to لِتَعَارَفُوا, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in chapter Hujurat, that if you see that you are from different tribes, different colors, languages, many other aspects and criterion can be there for our differences. But these differences are there in order to know each other. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has one criteria. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. So that is the whole message of our religion in our Quran. We might have many differences. We might be followers of different religions. We might be followers of different school of thoughts. We might be having difference in opinions. Definitely in one family, two brothers are not similar to each other in opinion. So that is very natural. But something which is not natural is that we just stick to that difference and not come to a common word. The way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Ta'alaw ila kalimatin sawa." This is our duty, to come to a common ground with every person, every human being in this world. Most especially when it comes to our brothers in faith, our Muslim brothers. So this is the whole message of our Quran, that we might be having difference in opinion and many other fields, but there is always a common ground for us. Common ground for us is Kaaba, towards which we are reciting our namaz. Common ground for us is our book, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Common ground for us is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Common ground for us is Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salatu wa salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Whose love, whose mawadda, and whose wilaya is something which has been commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. That is the whole message for today's discussion, for this few minutes that I was at your service. I hope we can gain this mawadda, this wilaya of Ahlul Bayt, and wilaya of Rasulullah, and the wilaya of the holy book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this holy month. Bi barakat salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.